or a Bing, but I don't have my Bing today. Well, hello. I'm the person that keeps coming in late, leaving early. I apologize to anyone's session that I have done that to. My name is Mary Hall. That's my first name. Surface is my last name. Mary Hall is in honor of 7 generations of women. It's a 7-generation family name, so that's why I hold on to it. And I'm actually a theater director and playwright and producer. The theater I like to call the Empathy Gym. If you think about it, theater could not exist without empathy from everyone. From the audience toward the performers, the performers toward their characters, the playwright who has to imagine characters, step inside and imagine their world. But what I'm coming to you today is sort of another hat that I have, which is that I'm a teaching artist that uses theater and drama and creative writing, working with educators and also in museums. And I have found, I'm sure, like many of you, since March of 2020, that we have been called in some new directions. And the direction to which I have been called and found myself is a facilitator of reflective and contemplative writing inspired by visual art. And I do it online through the Washington National Cathedral here in DC, also through the Smithsonian Associates, and even some of the virtual studios I've been doing with the National Gallery of Art have leaned in an interesting reflective and contemplative direction, because I've found that in this time, I think in all times, but particularly in this time, we are looking for our centers, we are looking for our connections, we're looking for our relationships, we're looking for wholeness, we're looking for healing, we're looking for resilience, and that's what I'm trying to put out in the world as best I can through whatever gifts I have. So this is a new workshop, your guinea pigs, because this is actually the first time I've been standing in front of a group of people in a museum in 2.5, almost 3 years. So it's thrilling. But these are practices that I've developed online. And I know it's easier to go places sitting at your desk with your computer, perhaps, than here together in a space. So we'll find out. But if there's ever a group that will go, I think it might be you. So here we are. So what we're going to be doing is taking the opportunity to try to center the heart in our experience of beauty. And then to consider how centering the heart in our experience of beauty might be a great gym for our hearts in our journeys toward becoming more empathetic. So, beauty, right? That's a word that's probably been thrown around and defined as much as empathy and love. But interestingly, beauty was the organizing principle of the gallery in which we stand. Charles Lang Freer believed that beauty was a universal language, that it was the one thing that could connect us. It was our oneness, our interconnectedness across time, across place, and across culture. And he believed that beauty was accessible to anyone, as long as you approached an object with, I want to quote him, he said, quiet contemplation. And that it should be an experience available to everyone, and thus his collection, he made sure that it was available in a public space in perpetuity. So here we are today, launched into an activity that was launched by a human who believed in the power of beauty to connect us all together. And he, true to his time, it was during the aesthetic movement, he was really interested in freeing art from any didactic purpose, even really freeing it from its historical and political and economic circumstances, and rather allowing it to, this is my favorite phrase of all of his, to sound the secret chord that connects us all. So can you hear it? In the room, starting to sound a little bit, this secret chord of beauty that connects us. He also famously said, "Let us open wide our eyes." And so I'm adding to that today, let us open wide our hearts. And our hearts, which are, the center of our being, literally. It's the only organ in our body that moves without our telling it to. It has a mind of its own. Yeah. It's also the center of wisdom and knowledge and compassion and love across all faith traditions, and also in the center of a humanistic world. It's what connects us to one another. So, as we consider the beautiful today, let us think about how it exercises our heart toward empathy. So let's start by warming up our hearts, shall we? So I invite you, if you can, as much as possible, wherever you are seated, to just try to become aware of where you are. Maybe let both feet be on the ground if you can do that somewhere in the space that you are. And then I invite you to just put at least one hand on your heart, if not both. And in the spirit of the last group presentation, let's just breathe together for a moment. Just breathe in and out. And in. And just stay aware of your breathing as you just focus your eyes softly on a place on the floor in front of you, or if you want to close them, that's lovely, whatever you'd like. And as you stay in touch with your breathing, begin to picture in your mind, and more especially, begin to feel in your heart an experience of beauty from your own life. And that could be in relationship to a work of art, or music, or nature. As you remember that experience of beauty, bringing it to mind and heart, notice the sensations in your body. And notice the emotions that are arising for you, the feelings that you associate with that experience of beauty. And notice how that beauty is drawing you inward to a deep place within yourself. And notice how that beauty is lifting you and launching you outwardly toward that which is bigger than you, beyond you. Really hold on and treasure that inward and outward gift that is beauty. Breathe. Take a moment to be grateful for that remembered beauty. And then slowly bring your attention back to this room and our gathering. So I would love to just collect some single words from you, just single words that capture a quality of that experience you just had. A single word.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Oneness.
Sorry? Oneness. Light. Harmony. Harmony.
Expansive.
Expansive.
Flowing.
Flowing.
Crisp.
Crisp. Crisp. Silence.
Silence. Innocence.
Innocence.
Aliveness.
Aliveness.
Exuberance.
Exuberance.
Longing.
Such a range of the potential and possibilities within the beautiful. Those are such a range of words. Well, now that our hearts are kind of warmed up, we're going to begin by doing the first of what I hope we can do our 3 steps to this process today. And in just a moment, I'm going to invite you, we're going to start with the self, and then we're going to begin in relationship. I'm going to invite you to move within the Islamic galleries, which is this room and the next, or to go across the hall to the 2 galleries that feature art from Japan. And we can only go to those 2 galleries because of licensing with the video, so if you feel drawn to the whistlers in the back, you'll have to just do that later. But those are the galleries that we can go to. So if you can go on your own, and we're going to have a handout to guide you. But let me just talk through some of the first things to think about. Is that I invite you to find a work of art with which you are unfamiliar. Imagine that it is the other. It is the other you have never encountered. I invite you to find that other quickly. Just because of our limited amount of time. The possibilities are vast, but if you can be drawn to a work with the speed of possibility. And once you are in front of that work, just sort of remembering some of the qualities of the experience we just had, just really center yourself in front of the work, give it your full attention, be conscious of your breath, connecting to your breath, and I think physicalizing, putting your hand over your heart, and becoming aware of the emotions that it is evoking. Now notice I did not say, take a good long look at the signage, go through the Rolodex of your art history and see how many other pieces you might be able to relate to this or what you know about them. You might think about, right? What I'm asking you to do as an exercise is to truly, I think Monique this morning talked about heart work rather than head work. Mm-hmm. It's to seek for an experience which is different from our brain-based cognitive experience. Mm-hmm. To foreground the heart. Mm-hmm. We're foregrounding the heart, not the brain-based cognition and all that we know and want to know and are curious about the work from a historical point of view. That is all absolutely valuable. But in this moment that we are together, we are focusing on cultivating our heart connection to the work. Mm-hmm. And I get my clue from Mr. Freer, who formed the gallery, who says, quote, about experiencing art. He says, the pure emotion of the observer should be the first sensation, unencumbered by the views of others. So, what a perfect museum for us to be in today. All right, so here's, if you can just take one and pass it around. Everyone will have one sheet that you'll take with you. Just passing. As I mentioned, you'll go on your own, you'll find your piece, and this piece of paper is intended to guide you, and then it's also going to be a place for you to start to capture in words the experience that I hope you will have, and invite you to have and encourage you to have in front of the work of art. So that you start, by giving it your full attention, paying attention to your breath, and really name the emotions that arise for you. Pay attention to what they are and give them names and record them in the space or capture them in the space that's there. You can use single words, you can use phrases, you can use short sentences. This is not about creating brilliant prose. This is just about capturing sensation. And then the second part is to really try to notice what specifically about the work of art is evoking this response. Is it an aesthetic response to the colors, to the shapes, to the textures? There's something physical about the work that's resonating for you. Why do I feel this way? Is the question you're asking. And then you may also think, oh, it's because I have an association or a memory. Whatever that is, just pay attention first to how you feel, and then wonder about where those feelings are rooted, and try to capture that. And then, the beauty definition, according to Mary Hall, is an experience of a thing, or a moment, or a sound that takes you and takes you. Right? So be open to what it is about this work of art that is drawing you inwardly, and what it is about the work of art that is somehow leading you to whatever that thing which is bigger than you is. Be it a notion of the divine, be it a notion of the oneness of humanity, but something beyond your being. Yes?
I don't think I get that, because there's a lot of overlap between that beyond is within. So is there or do whatever you feel like.
Well, that's lovely. I think it's something I've been very aware of listening to Elif and hear some of your comments, is how unbelievably Western I am.
Yeah.
And if I call on my wannabe Quakeredness, a Quaker Palian, a Quaker and Episcopalian, my Quaker Palianness is the notion that there's that of God in everyone. So there's the divine we carry here, the divine which is out here, really whatever that means to you. But I think where this has come from is in my reflective writing work, is that it's so much about people getting very aware of what's happening here. And then a lot of times the big aha moments happen when they go, oh, to something, to meaning beyond themselves.